Little Cindy was found strolling in her mother's garden. She was really amazed because when she saw the beautiful flowers, she was really awed by their wonder. And so she looked to the fields of roses and saw that the petals were painted with bright red. And now she looked to the field of tulips, which were all very beautiful because of their combination of the red and yellow. And now she goes to the fields of bluebells. She was really amazed because they all look like bells painted with blue, and it gave her tranquility and calmness. But then, there was one flower that was not blooming. It was still a closed bud, still waiting for its time to bloom. Little Cindy was really impatient, and she was irritated because she wants to see all the flowers to be bloom. And so, she rushed over and plucked the poor bluebell. And then she forcibly opened it, trying to see if she can make the flower bloom in one poop. But then, she didn't realize that the flower that she was forcibly opening was now being destroyed. The petals that were supposed to shine were now lying in the ground, destroyed and tarnished. And so, she saw this happening and then she threw the stem away, looking once again at the flowers. This story, my friends, has a lot of symbolism. One can compare the flowers to us human beings. We can either be the full-bloom ones. These people are the matured ones. They've already know the secrets, the techniques in life, and they are already living life to the fullest. They are already showing their talents to everyone and giving their wisdom to younger ones. While on the other hand, the unbloomed ones are us, teenagers, young adults, and are still trying to learn what life is all about. We are still climbing on the ladder of life and hoping that we can reach for our success. This, my friend, the act of little Cindy forcibly trying to open the unbloomed one, shows us that all in time we will ripen. All in time we will be bloomed. All in time we will show our beauty, our grace. But we must learn how to be patient. This, my friend, it has a correlation with my story or my speech. For our formalities, I will be introducing myself. I am Claydel H. Capiral, reigning from 10A, and I will give you my stand about premarital sex. Now, you might be asking, what's the story correlation with my speech? What is the flower symbolism has to do with my speech? To answer that quite effectively, the story shows us that we must wait in time, just like in sex. But first, let me ask you, my viewers, who are here already engaged? Please do not comment that you're already engaged, because it will be really not cool or awkward. And now, have you ever wondered, before I ask this question, please note that this will be really sensitive, so gear up. Have you ever thought, or has this thought ever crossed your mind, is it okay to have premarital sex? Now, I know majority of you know what premarital sex is, or there are people trying to Google it, what is it? For formalities, once again, I will say, or I will define what premarital sex is. Premarital sex is an act of intercourse between two unmarried people. It could be either teenagers or young adults. But the fact that they're still unmarried makes it premarital sex. Now, you might be asking, we're deeply in love. I want to experience the fullness of being in love. My friend, there are a lot of cons in doing that. And I will give you the three main parts why this premarital sex is not really that advisable for us not really married or so. So first and foremost, as I've said, there is a time for everything. So, let's begin, shall we, with the cons. First, morality. If we're going to engage in the act of sex, as women, there's a lot of morality going on. For men, it's okay because people won't notice if their hymen are cut or torn, but we girls, they're going to notice that. Virginity, pureness, it's a big deal for people, especially to us. So morality. As the researchers said that if premarital sex causes a lot of the emotional damage to the person, especially to the girls, and especially if the person that they gave their virginity to is not the right one. So it will cause a lot of physical damage, mentally, and emotionally. And a lot of premarital sex, and a lot of unmarried women who undergo through the premarital sex experience depression. Thankfully, some of them manage to go through with their life, but what about others? What about those people who doesn't have strong personality like them? What will happen to them? Depression will kick in, suicide will come. What's next? Death. So that, my friend, is my stand, morality. Then second, the fact that sexually transmitted diseases are much able to spread through. Now, some of you might think, what are sexually transmitted diseases? These are commonly known as HIV. Say, premarital sex is caused by casual sex. Casual sex is by two individuals deeply in love and they're doing the teaming. Let's say, shall we, the two doesn't know if their partner is infected with HIV, and they keep on doing that. What's going to happen to the other person? They're going to be infected. And what if time comes that the two of them will separate? Who has a lot of the funds? The person that was infected with the HIV. And a lot of statistics says that 55% is being able to transmit through a sexual purposes. And that, my friend, do I need to clarify that more? Because if we're going to clarify it, we're going to deeper with the science. And my speech has nothing to do with that. And finally, pregnancy. This is the most disastrous thing that could happen in terms of premarital sex. Say, imagine, you two were deeply in love, committed and engaged, and soon ready to marry for marriage. But then the guy says, hey, let's do that. And you just agreed. But then, when we do that, you became pregnant. And then the two of you got into a really big fight that no words can mend it, and the two of you decided to cut your relationship. What's going to happen to you? Researchers says that about 79% are unmarried. And what's more, 30% of them didn't finish high school. And that, my friend, states that most 99% of unmarried women are mostly teenagers, 15 to 19. How sad is that? What's happening in our generation? The answer is the media. And that, my friend, and that's just because everyone is doing it, just because this is a casual trend, doesn't make it right. It's still wrong. So what does the scripture says about this? So there have a lot of more evidences on it. You can check the scriptures, but I'm going to say this. Solomon said he wrote it 3 times. 3 times, my friend. And what's the saying if you keep on repeating it? It's important. He says that we must not force the fruit to be ripened right away. We must wait. He repeated that scripture over and over 3 times. No. And he also said, a scripture said, there is a time for everything. A time to mourn, a time to die, a time for happiness, a time for sadness, a time to kill, a time to heal. So basically, that principle also applies to sex. And what's the right time for sex? It's after marriage. God created sex for pleasure, yes. But He also did that for recreation. He created sex is to reproduce, not just for having fun. That's the reason why He's not really He's not really in favor of premarital sex is because He's doing it to protect the unborn child. What if the girl decided to abort the child, and that child holds the future, or he holds a remedy for cancer? What's going to happen? And one more thing of you, people keep on saying or keep on telling to me, sex creates intimacy. No, it does not. True intimacy is created by true love. It is created by the saying of I am in love with you every morning, every now and then. It is not created or reproduced by our genital organs. It is built upon foundation. It is built upon trust, commitment, and being loyal to the other person. It's not about lust or anything. It is about their emotions. That is why if your partner keeps on urging you to do a premarital sex, he's not the right one. Maybe if you give your virginity to that guy or girl, then you found out that he's not the right one, what's going to happen to you? My friend, please wait. True love waits. Just remember, we all have our partner. We might not know who is it, but it doesn't mean we should resort to premarital sex just because we can have a partner. True love waits. And that is the end of my speech.